Unlike the top 10 video that I made a few weeks ago where I was going over my top 10 favorite Godzilla designs, that list included the suits and CGI models, but this tier list is going to be specifically focused on just the suits. So we're just going to go through this list here. So without further ado, let's get into it. And of course, we're going to start with the original 1954 Godzilla design. So when it comes to the original 1954 design, obviously this is a very iconic suit, and I would not want to put it anywhere under good, obviously. But I'm gonna put it towards great. The eyes, for one, even though some of the shots look kind of silly, I would say that it's still kind of an unnerving suit design in a way, especially if he's like looking at you and the way like his eyeballs kind of, giving you the side eye. And again, it's also just a very iconic suit. I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. So now next we have the suit from Godzilla Raids Again. Now for me, this suit, I would say is bad, actually. I would say it's a huge downgrade from what 54 had. I don't know, there's something about the design that he just doesn't look as terrifying. He looks way too skinny. It just seems like, obviously I know that it was the second film, and it just seems like Toho really didn't know what they wanted to do with the suit. Just going from the 54 suit to 55, it just was not good. So I'm gonna put Raids Again in bad. Okay, next is the King Goji suit from King Kong vs. Godzilla. This suit I'm gonna also put in great as well. I feel like this suit is definitely an upgrade from the 54 suit, and I feel like it's big and bulky. He still looks like a bad guy. He's not super good yet, so definitely a great suit. Next we have the Mothra vs. Godzilla suit, and I would say this one is actually perfect. The 64 suit, in my opinion, and I know it's also, I actually know it's a pretty popular opinion, but I think in the Showa era, the 64 suit is one of the best, and it's also probably one of the quintessential suits that just made Godzilla look ferocious. It made him look like a main guy, and it just seemed like it was all the designs that so far, it just seems like this was the one that kind of put all the right pieces together, and it just worked. And so yeah, the 64 suit definitely is perfect in my opinion. Have Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, and I believe that's what this one is. Some of these pictures were out of order. I had to put them in order, but I believe this is the Ghidorah three-headed monster suit. I'm going to put this one in good because it's not awful. It's very similar to the 64. I believe it's kind of the same suit. It's just modified. But for me, it seemed like a big downgrade. I don't know. Something happened with how ferocious he looked in 64, and then all of a sudden, not even a year later, like in the same year, they like changed up his suit, and he just didn't look as good. I don't know. So I'm going to put that one in good. Now, Invasion of the Astro Monster, I'm also going to put in good. Again, it looks to be more a modification of Godzilla, but this is where we start to see Godzilla turn a little bit more into a good guy, and this is where Godzilla's, face and just, his body really doesn't change a lot from these suits. It's mostly in the facial features, but this is where Godzilla starts, in my opinion, to become a little more, kid-friendly, and that's where it starts to go downhill for me. And then we have Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. I'm gonna put this one in bad. Again, I am so sorry to all the Sea Monster fans, but everything about that film I just really don't like. It is my least favorite Godzilla film of all time, and that includes the suit. I wouldn't put it in terrible, but it just does not look good in my opinion. I don't know, just the way the Cookie Monster face, the eyes, just the whole face, the facial features about him, it just isn't really that great. We're going to go to Son of Godzilla, and I am sorry, I'm putting this in terrible. I have always said that the Son of Godzilla suit is probably the worst Godzilla the worst Godzilla look we've ever gotten in terms of suit design. I don't know what they did. I know that they had to make him look cutesy, and I know that they had to make him look more, kid-friendly, whatever, but like, my God, like, what did they do to his face? It just looks smushed up and awful, and I don't know, it's just everything about it just does not look good to me. So I unfortunately I'm going to put that one in terrible. Next we have the Godzilla suit that was from Destroy All Monsters, and this suit's actually going to kind of carry on for a few movies. They use this suit a lot, and I'm actually going to say this suit was perfect. A huge upgrade from the Son of Godzilla suit, And when they first debuted this suit in Strong Monsters, it was like that. And again, similar to 64, the 68 suit I feel is quintessential Showa Godzilla. Like, that suit is so iconic, and it makes, I mean, they use that suit for so many movies, and I don't know, it's just everything about it seems to, he has the ferocity look to him, like he means business, but then he also has a little bit of that approachability where he's like, yeah, I'm kind of on your side, I'm kind of a good guy, but at the same time, I'm still not afraid to destroy some cities. So the 68 suit I feel is one of the perfect suits, and we're gonna actually continue that on. I mean, really, for Godzilla's Revenge, they use the same suit, tiny modifications, but it's still the same thing. So I'm still gonna put it in perfect. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. Really, when I think about it, it's all perfect. It really is the same suit. I think that's just not a good image of it. But really, when I think about it, it's all good. And including with the Godzilla, when the suit ended its final film in Godzilla vs. Gigan, again, it's just the suit itself as a whole, I think is perfect. So, yeah. Okay, next is the Godzilla suit from Megalon, and also continuing on for the next 3 films until the Showa series ended. I'm also going to put this in perfect. I have said many, many times that the Megalon suit is my favorite suit out of the Showa era, and it just got even better with Mechagodzilla and perfected in Terror Mechagodzilla. This trio of modifications with this suit, I feel so good to end the Showa series with. It just perfect, especially the Terror Mechagodzilla suit. I mean, like, when they got to this, like, he was super cutesy in Megalon, but when they got to Terror Mechagodzilla, it's like Godzilla looks pissed. I mean, he's like done with the Mechagodzilla, and it's great. So what, to me, it was a perfect way. Like, they could have ended it with this suit. Really, they could have ended it with these different kinds, but really, I feel like this was a great way to end the Showa series. And now we move to the Heisei series, and I really don't have to explain myself. Duh. I mean, you guys just know that that's going to be perfect, like 84, of course. I can't put him anywhere lower. Again, I don't have to explain myself. I've talked about that suit many, many times. The Biollante suit, I'm going to put in great. I do feel like it's, for me, I don't know. The 89 suit is still great, though. Again, it's in great, but again, I have to be super, like, 84 is just where I wanted this suit to continue, to be honest. In my opinion, I do feel like it was a minor, and I'm talking minor step down to 84. And I know that a lot of people might think that the Biollante suit's probably better, but in my opinion, I still don't think it's as good as 84. But 89 is still fantastic. And again, similar to the Showa suits that are up here, they pretty much use the same framework. So really, the rest of this is going to be great, other than Burning Godzilla is going to go in perfect. So, of course, like, again, this framework of Godzilla, similar to what I would say the 68 suit, I would say that the suit from 1989 all the way to 1995 is quintessential Heisei. At that, I mean, there are, like, Toho still utilizes the Heisei design, like, in this time frame, as a lot of marketing stuff, all that things. I mean, Gigabash, when they did the DLC, they designed him after this Heisei look. The Godzilla Tower in Japan, the Godzilla mold that they used was based on, I think it was the 94 design or whatever. So this is like super quintessential Godzilla look in terms of like 90s, and again, it still resonates even to this day as being very iconic. All right, we're now going to land into the final era of the Suitimation stuff, and we're going to go with Millennium. Now, this one, this is going to be pretty easy for me as well. I think that the 2000s, the early 2000s, let's say, Orga and Megaguirus, again, being very similar suits, minor differences, I would say is perfect. I really dig these suits. In my opinion, I feel like it's, again, it embodies the early 2000s in terms of keeping what's traditional about Godzilla and keeping what makes Godzilla him in terms of his design, but modernizing it for, that kind of edgy early 2000s kind of grit, you know, and again, those dorsal plates are just so pronounced and iconic. I love it. I love this suit. The GMK suit. Okay, now this might be a shock, but I'm actually going to put it in great. Again, hear me out. The GMK suit is amazing, but I still think these suits are better, so I have to put it in great. But again, GMK is amazing, super terrifying looking, all that good stuff. I just think that he obviously they made him look a little bit more Showa, so they brought it back to that kind of route, which is fine. And again, this is still a fantastic suit. Don't get me wrong. I just think, in terms for me, when it comes to perfect, that these suits are better. I'm also going to put the Kiryu stuff. I'm going to put that in great as well, because again, even though these suits are using the same framework as these ones, even though like the dorsal plate colors changed and all that stuff, but I still think Godzilla's head is like a little more like smaller in a weird way. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. His head's not the same bulkiness as the early Millennium ones, but these are still great suits as well, especially the animatronics with his facial expressions. This was like super advanced. This was like the best that the suits were ever going to get at this point. Then we had the Final Wars Goji, and I'm going to put him as great as well. I love Godzilla Final Wars. Everything about that film is great. But again, when I think of perfect suit, I really think that this suit just caps the Millennium series. Like, it's my favorite Millennium design. So that is pretty much it. That is my ranking of all the Godzilla suits of the classic Tokusatsu era of Godzilla. So I want to thank Mark Skirby for the request, and I want to know your guys' opinion in the comments below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let's keep the comments civil, please. And remember, it's just my opinion. Doesn't mean that it's fact. Let me know your tier list in the comments below. I would love to read them. And as always, stay big, G fans.